Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamualaikum. Ji ayanu pakhair agale ni hao chunishume washmale. Ohio Gonzaimas, guten Morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasal, marhaba. Buna, mucho gracias, swabi, balli kare aya. Hosh khayal dene na sayo, khuya mora, chivato, chi hal yud kalimera khairutan. And a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning. Alongside my very well-learned colleague who happens to be Ms. Hajar Satti. I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well, that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. But first things first, hello Hajra, Assalamu Alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum Assalam. Thank you so much, Jazakallah Khair, for introducing me, Shahzad. So yesterday we were talking about the global IT outrage which affected a lot of businesses across the Europe, and I think that brings a very interesting conversation in the fore, which is about the cyber resilience and how important it is to have that sort of cyber resilience, because our entire structures are shifting towards the IT, or already on the IT structures, right? So whether be the targeted attacks done by some state or non-state actors, or by some innocent sort of the bugs that happens in the IT system, but that makes us something this makes us very clear that how we need to have these sort of conversations and how to respond and how to make sure whether it's an attack or it's a very I would say how do I put it, it was a very sort of a futile sort of an act carried out by some foolish sort of an actors, right? And that is why it is important that we have those conversations. If it's a targeted attack, how do we attribute the causes towards it and find out what the act is behind it, right? And this is something, these are very interesting conversations. I think their conversations are happening at the global level, but how to deal with that, how to move ahead and move across with that, and that requires a very global effort at combating that, right? Just like climate change in the first place.
Well, but in addition to this, Hajar, I think even domestically we need to speak about it. We need to raise our concerns about it, because imagine that after months and months of time, I was able to use Twitter without VPN just yesterday.
So, oh, really?
Yeah, imagine. So I was like, I don't know what's happening, whether my VPN's on or off, but I actually kind of made sure that I'm going to check it again, but I was able to do that. And then I started to question myself that why do we have to use VPN in order to use Twitter? I think, these are the things which people really need to kind of talk about. I mean, this is your social media freedom. And when we talk about freedom or expression of freedom, I think it comes under that branch as well of Constitution, where we need to have that right, that we should be able to access all sorts of information technology platform which are available for the rest of the world. Why can't we use it without VPN? So how do you think, because it makes it difficult, this conversation, right?
It's a very difficult conversation to have, but thank you so much for pointing it out and telling me and adding to my vocabulary that we can have the Twitter or X.
It was just yesterday. I don't know about today, right?
Yeah, because it has been such a long time since I logged into my Twitter. I used to be a very I would say ardent Twitterati, but when it happened, there was a ban on the Twitter, so I did not bother going there, because every time I have to open the VPN and then I have to log in. But I think I was having this conversation with someone and I was doing the VPN thing, but someone told me that VPN is not even working, you have to buy that VPN. So I said, I'm not spending money on buying the VPN. But I think these are the questions, these are the very pertinent questions, and we need to be asking that in an era where we see that our entire businesses have shifted on the social media.
True.
And it's important that it is a source of income for a lot of people out there. And if we are having such a conventional models of security in 21st century, where we see that we are very digitally connected, where we are witnessing a very fast-paced world out there, and we are adopting very archaic methods, then obviously we are not going to be at pace with the entire world. So how can we talk about being in pace with the entire world, with the globalization, with this interconnected economy, when we are having very basic questions, of
exactly. And in addition to this, there are two more things, so people really need to empower themselves. Alhamdulillah, for everybody who's out there, I think you should actually support me over here as well. It's because of the fact that finally I have subscribers on my Instagram. So everybody who needs to watch my story will have to pay 1,300 rupees. So I think that's good. I think finally I'm in line with that. Number two, I think people really need to kind of know where they are spending with their credit cards or online. Now imagine that after every month you will get a message from iTunes that, 5,000, 6,000 rupees have been paid on iTunes, 2,000 rupees somewhere else and 3,000 somewhere else. You really need to make sure that you know where you're spending, because eventually this is something which happened because when ChatGPT came in, imagine that I bought it for 10,000 rupees and it was a renewal every year. So the next year I didn't knew that, that the renewal is just around the corner, and all of a sudden I got a message 10,000 has been spent, and I was like, where? And then I kind of realized
did you find any utility for the ChatGPT? I mean, you spend so much money on
the problem was, with me, the problem was that because we are morning show hosts, we do impromptu talking as well, and then, we really need to have the scripts in our own minds. Now, what happens is that if I tried using it for a week's period, and what happened was that I was like, if I start to rely on it, what will happen is that my ability to produce whatever content that I produce will certainly be overshadowed by ChatGPT. So I didn't really use it then, but then for application writing and all sorts of other things, you can seriously use it and it's beneficial. But now coming down to what we need to talk about, because it's monsoon period, ladies and gentlemen, and I've got kids, it's summer vacations everywhere. Just 3-4 days ago, my younger daughter was actually had fever. And we didn't know, that what was going wrong, so we had to go to the doctor, and he said that it's monsoon period, there's so many gastro issues and whatnot. So, so we certainly wanted to help all of those parents who are out there who are struggling with kids who are not getting well. Even in adults these days, we do see that there are multiple issues related to your gastroenterology field. So, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about that, we're very lucky that we've been joined by one of the most amazing, fresh-looking, dapper, a very well-spoken gentleman over here, ladies and gentlemen. We're very lucky that we've been joined by a consultant gastroenterologist, hepatologist, all the way from Maroof Hospital. He is Dr. Usman Aftab Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Wa alaikum salam, and thank you for having me on this wonderful show, and thank you for this wonderful, undeserved.
You truly deserve it, sir. You truly deserve it.
No, and we're really honored to have you on our show. So, Dr. Saab, like Shahzad mentioned, since we're witnessing the monsoon season, one day it's going to be a really pleasant weather, another day it's going to be extremely hot, right? And we are witnessing that there's a surge in the cases in the diarrhea. I mean, you are better able to tell us. So, what are the causes behind it, and how do we cope up with this particular condition?
So, first of all, thank you for this opportunity, and say on the same vein of cyber security, this is body security.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yes, protecting us from the outside agents and infection and viruses.
Yep.
So, summer times, and especially at the onset of monsoon, the GI or the gastroenterology problems go up very high.
Right.
Now, the first thing I would tell you or want to tell you, your viewers, is please don't rush to antibiotics straight away, because this is our like mantra.
This is our national sport.
Exactly. There are a couple of medications I'm not going to name, but people just start taking them willy-nilly, and 1 day or 2 days and they'll say yes. But these are very specific antibiotics or medicine that should be taken with doctor's advice.
Okay.
Number 2, what can we do for ourselves? Viral gastroenteritis is very common. Kids, children generally get viral gastroenteritis. So don't rush in giving antibiotics to toddlers.
Okay.
What I would suggest what we do is, once we have this sort of symptoms like diarrhea or vomiting or fever in the family, I think family in general should do hand washing and cleanliness anyways.
Right.
But during these periods, you should overindulge into this, especially for the children and the elderly, because these are the two vulnerable groups. So hand washing, increase your water intake. Now, yes, it's a bit of a double two-edged sword, because the more water intake, and if it's unhealthy water, you start getting problems with them. So try make extra effort in boiling it, cooling it down, add some ORS or rehydration supplements into it. Simple paracetamols is fine. The best thing is hydration, 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 and give it time.
But sir, what the problem is that now imagine that just yesterday or day before yesterday it was raining, it was cloudy, you certainly do not feel like, having that much water on such days. Now all of a sudden there's a change, there's so much of precipitation within the air, and then all of a sudden it's humid, you certainly cannot breathe, the water intake changes all of a sudden. So in a day's time, where you were drinking 4-liter water, all of a sudden it rained, now you're drinking 2 liters of water. So with these changes, how do you think that the body can adopt so quickly? Like, kal mausam bahut acha tha, pani nahi piya gaya, aaj mausam kharab hai, pani zyada pee lo, kaise kare?
First of all, fight that urge of having garam samosa and pakode.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, but necessary.
Because every day it rains, our colleagues and everything, yaar, aaj samosa khane ka dil hai. So
Shahzad is an advocate of that, huge advocate.
And she is actually supposed to get us samosas next time when it rains, okay? So we'll do that.
So
I
yeah,
don't agree.
fight that urge. Number one. Number
You
two,
heard Dr. Saab.
I am culprit as you are.
No samosas.
So now the problem is because people start thinking about water as, oh yeah, we'll feel thirsty and we drink it. Do we eat antibiotics or medication because we want to or they taste well? No.
No.
So try to indulge yourself and make this a habit in terms of your medical plan.
Okay.
Because if I tell you, this is the problem. Because we generally, even in the winters, people start drinking less because they think they are not thirsty enough.
True.
But take this as part of your medical well-being and medical plan. Nowadays, like women and everybody, mostly, and gym goers who are unlike me, and more active people, they carry their own bottles. This is the new thing.
Yeah. They've got big bottles
Big
this
bottles
time now.
and oh, my missus has a 4-gallon bottle that she carries along. So that gives you a target.
Right.
I think that's the best way to
Have a go.
hydrate yourself.
Yep.
Yes, if your symptoms are not getting better in 24 to 48 hours and you're feeling unwell, now is the time to get medical help and maybe start antibiotics.
Okay.
Otherwise, probiotics like natural yogurt, this is brilliant, purified or boiled water with a little bit of ORS. ORS and paracetamol are two things which are really understated. In Western world, you go with a fever and what they will do, the first thing they will do is give you paracetamol.
Even the last thing that's what it is.
Yeah,
they
the
will
last
give
thing they will do is
paracetamol.
paracetamol.
Yeah.
No, because it's very underused and underappreciated thing.
True.
And plus ORS. Now, water can be sometimes a bit tricky because if you're dehydrated, you drink more water. One, it will make you more thirsty because it's not isotonic, which means its concentration is different to blood. It will dehydrate you a bit more.
Okay.
So ORS or simple lemonade or some scungevine or any squash or something like this,
Juice, right.
this helps it to bring a bit more isotonic, same concentration with the blood or close to it, and this makes you hydrated a bit more. But no colas and no carbonated drinks.
And no
Yeah.
fizzy drinks. Yes, we
Yeah.
heard the Dr. Saab right, and no pakoras and samosas. But Dr. Saab, you mentioned a very important and interesting point, and I think there's a lot of debate going on in the medical fraternity, and you're the best person to enlighten us about it, which is the antibiotic resistance. And we see that that problem is cropping up in Pakistan a lot. Number one, is it a valid assertion of mine? And if it is, what are the implications of that? So enlighten our people about it. You know, if there is antibiotic resistance, what are the reasons behind it, and how can we overcome this phenomena, or is it a phenomena that needs to be overcome in the first place?
No, it is definitely a phenomenon. I think this is for the developing world, not just Pakistan,
Okay.
for any developing world country. This is going to be the next biggest challenge
Okay.
because even in our lifetime, we've seen some antibiotics were the best at one point in time, and now nobody even cares. The problem happens is the single most important factor in this is overuse of antibiotics.
Yep.
Right.
And plus, not just overuse, having them willy-nilly and having them for a small duration of time. People will take it for one day
Okay.
and then say, yes, I feel better, I'll leave it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, there are economic factors into it as well, but there are social and habitual factors. You ask my family, they'll say, yes, let's take a couple of tablets and then we'll be okay and move
That's
on.
it, yeah.
The problem happens is, I'll just tell you a little bit of an anecdote. There is a online journal which is called Up to Date.
Right.
This is a paid subscription. I wouldn't advise lay people to have it, but this is a Bible for ongoing research that happens in the world.
Okay.
In typhoid, for all the world, there is one sort of antibiotic that we should use, and then for Pakistan, it mentions for Pakistan, oh, these antibiotics don't work, use these ones, which are third, fourth generation ones.
All right.
Okay.
And to be honest, till date, we don't have anything more stronger than those.
Okay.
So,
So God forbid if that stops working.
yes,
Yeah, where
because
will you end
our
up?
typhoid, let's say, for instance, takes 10 days to heal. In Western world, you speak to your friends, they will say, yeah, it's a salmonella, it's a bug, we ate something, had few days of antibiotics, and now we
That's
are
it.
fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Our typhoid needs hospital admission, entire economics of family.
And it's a
gets
risk as
disturbed.
well.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
People go to intensive cares, and we have made this into such a big thing that it scares us.
And it becomes life-threatening as well. And in addition to this, you know, so I actually, very sorry, I forgot the name of the company, but I'm an ambassador for that as well, where I tell people not to eat a lot of antibiotics as well, you know, because certainly, God forbid, you know, if imagine that you've overused it, unfortunately, it can be a problem once the body does not really react to that. But sir, what about people who are on immunosuppressants, who've got weak immunity, even if they get flu, you know, it lasts longer than any other illness. So, they do not have any other choice, and they have been regular on antibiotics every time they've got flu. Even influenza can actually damage them quite a lot. What should they do?
And Dr. Sir, before you answer his wonderful question, so please also relate the link with the antibiotic resistance, and does it have any link with the post-COVID situation? How is that change? I think that's important.
So, going to your question first, yes, immunosuppressant. The problem is immunosuppressant is a very hardcore medication. But at the background of it, why people need immunosuppression is because they've got an autoimmune or some clinical issue that needs
issues.
this. So generally what we tell people is, yes, they will need antibiotics from time to time, but we tell them or educate them about means and measures they can avoid infection in the first place. And we normally give them an emergency pack or emergency information or prescription that they should carry with them. If they start getting unwell, this is what they should take. I would still say, and this is what we tell our liver transplant patients and other immunosuppression patients on biologics, fine. Reduce your immunosuppression if you can, depending on patient to patient, during those days. Take general precautionary measures and general lifestyle changes. If this doesn't help, then you go on medication.
Wow. I think that's wonderful. And in addition to this, on this Sunday, of this month, it will be World Hepatitis Day as well. Unfortunately, that's a very common illness away in Pakistan.
Yes.
We still have polio over here in the country, where I think only 2 countries left on the map. I think it's Afghanistan and Pakistan where the polio still exists. Not touching that, but let's move on towards hepatitis. All sorts of hepatitis, we do have them over here. How can we protect ourselves? Unfortunately, we do not have clean drinking water all over the country. It's people managing themselves, for the sake of health for their own children, that they need to get clean drinking water. What are the sources? What are the causes? And how can we protect ourselves?
So this year the WHO's mantra for the Hepatitis Day is it's time for action now.
Yep.
Right.
Now the common viruses, the water related or diet related, are A and E. I think the problem with our country is, or third world countries, is we start looking at the governments and other organizations to help us. We should start looking at ourselves, what we can do to protect ourselves.
True.
Clean water, cleanliness around the house, nothing big, cleanliness around the community, and make this an effort of doing a clean job, not throwing stuff in our water areas. Don't use the nalis for garbage. In Islamabad, like there are rain streams, and we generally throw stuff into it. No, exactly, and this causes problems. And so hepatitis A and E are foodborne.
Yep.
The good thing is mostly they are self-limiting and they will go away. The more difficult ones are the hepatitis B and hepatitis C. They are silent killers. The figures on that is astonishing, unfortunately. Around the world, there are about 3 million people, and we are understating it because most of the third world countries, Asia and Africa, they have it, so there's no data on this. Even in Pakistan, we say about 9 to 10 million people are suffering from them. Yes, our data is a bit skewed with that because I think we've got more. But the astonishing bit is 1 out of 5 persons suffering from it will come forward.
Exactly.
Because of taboos of what if people find out I've got this, my family will shun it, it will have implication on my job, it will have implication on my social life, and even my wife or children will see me differently, or husband. So I think this is the first step that we should take, is speak to our family, speak to our doctor. Even if you have hepatitis B, vaccinate other members of the family. ये छूने से नहीं फैलता. This will not spread by sitting with you, with eating with you, with doing anything. Hepatitis C, on the other hand, yes, this does not have a vaccination, but it has a cure. About 95 to 96%, and it's one tablet. You just have to take a tablet for about 3 months or so, and most people will get better, and that's done. So my message to population would be hygiene, and don't look away, look into yourself. Hand hygiene, hand washing, tell your children, keep your home and your community clean. That is your job. Get yourself vaccinated about hepatitis B. If you are having lethargy, unwell, some odd viral symptoms, get yourself tested. Treatment is out there. It's very easy, but stop discriminating people who have this.
And I think we need to have more such sort of conversation, because it's a disease and that can be cured. And why suffer silently into that disease. But Dr. Saab, now let's touch upon another important topic, and I think we all suffer from that. That is the binge eating, or nowadays there is a trend of having a lot of junk food. So Dr. Saab prohibited us from pakoras and samosas, right, or limited us from eating or consuming it mindlessly. But we do see that there is a trend nowadays, especially because I see my sister that whenever she is eating, she is having some sort of screen time. She is watching some sort of show and program, and she says that it is a better digestive mechanism for me. I don't know, for some reason. But we do see that a lot of younger kids, they're also addicted to the screens while eating, and the junk food eating, and then eating that is not at the hours that we should be eating, right? For example, late night eating. So how would you recommend, because nutritional support is one of your area of expertise, so what are we doing wrong in a lifestyle that we are witnessing such a I would say increase in the diseases?
And we do it not because we are hungry, because our mouth is alone. Yeah, that's the only problem.
Yeah, the gluttony is an issue.
It was like we used to say idle hands are devil's playground. Now we are saying idle mouths are devil's playground.
Yeah.
That's very
And look, I think junk food has been taken as a misnomer. We talk about junk food. I was Gyan bant raha tha in one of the TV channels, and my father called me and said, "Junk food everybody eats. Even if you make it at home, it's junk food. Why do you say?" When we say junk food, we are actually saying processed food.
Yep.
okay.
Because burgers can be made at home, rice can be made at home. Obviously, agar matti ka tadka na lage, to it doesn't taste nice.
Yeah.
But still.
Yes.
So when we are talking about junk food, we are talking about processed food, like artificial preservatives. They cause problems and they cause GI issues. Touching on your eating habit, timing is important because yes, at the moment I am also a victim of this, or rather a cause or guilty in this, is that we eat and then we lie down, watch Netflix and sleep.
Yes.
I don't mind you eating late, but you have to have an activity after this. You can't just eat and sleep.
Yeah.
We normally advise people not to lay down during 1 or 2 hours after eating. So if you can sit or walk, the best time of walk in the day would be for people who are having gastro problems is after dinner.
Okay.
Because that would give you time to digest it, for the food to move forward. A lot of people will come to us saying we get reflux, ghabrahat ho rahi hai, because ghabrahat is basically food coming up, and when it comes in the chest, you start feeling first, I've got a heart attack, ji hospital chale.
Yeah.
So because this is all the food that's sitting in the stomach, you lie back, it comes up. So timing is important in those kind of way. Eat junk food, I don't mind. Control the quantity of it and see, just if I were to tell people one thing, I would say just think what you're eating.
Exactly.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saab, for saying that as well. And thank you so much for beautifully alluding to all of the topics and questions that we had. For everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, I think that your body will always tell you how it feels, and because of what of your actions. It's basically like how you drive a car, and the engine noise will always tell you which gear it needs to be in. So I think everybody needs to understand that. And number two, to avoid that binge eating, because I had a jar full of cookies right next to my bed.
Eat it instantly so that nothing
and what I did was I was like, Maji, please, can you please take it away, because I just cannot resist these cookies. So that's one solution that you can do, and make sure that you only eat 3 times a day, if that's what it is. May it be breakfast, may it be lunch and dinner. Do not eat in between. Just have more water, ORS, and if your body tells you that you're not well, go to the doctor straight away. We're heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. When you come back, we have a wonderful example, because people keep on asking me, Bhaijan, hum internet pe paise kaise kamaye? Okay, if you want to listen to that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a dedicated segment for that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome back, and before going on to the break, Shahzad added a very nice question that whenever something is wrong within your body is always giving you signals. So make sure that you are tuned into your body and you understand what is going on and listen to your body signals. And he also alluded to the sort of conversation that we want to delve in and that we want to develop, that is that how to earn money on the internet. And I think that is a buzzword. A lot has been going on. We often see videos coming up, propping up, in which they are teaching ways, and some of them are just trash, I think, because it's just a way, it's a clickbait, right? But how can we take the internet as a source for our income, because we are witnessing, and we have alluded to this sort of conversation in our introduction to that how much it is necessary to have the digital resilience. Why? One of the reason is because there are lots of businesses that are online, and Pakistan, I think, is the third most largest freelancing market, contributing in the entire world. So how can we earn money through the internet, and how can we make sure that we are not mindlessly just scrolling it down, but using it in a more productive manner, in a more utilitarian manner, so that we can earn something out of it? And we have a success story over here. We are very glad that we have been joined by CEO and the founder of ePro Hub. She happens to be Miss Samia Rashid. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Walaikum salam. How are you? And thank you so much, first of all, for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for
It's an
joining us.
honor
It's
for us.
wonderful to have you. Only a host can actually understand the happiness the other host can get when one appreciates the other one. So thank you so much.
Today I am here as an e-commerce expert, so I think we should talk about that, because it is a mandatory, I think, a skill these days.
True.
The people should learn about it. Actually, my company provides comprehensive IT solutions and e-commerce.
What are the solutions?
Solutions mean services, okay, all the services and e-commerce prowess across different platforms like Amazon, eBay, Shopify, TikTok, and we excel in web development and SEO, digital marketing.
But how
to
you
grow the
yourself got into
businesses.
it?
But Samia, and how do we delve into that particular problem that we are nowadays facing in Pakistan, because we don't have PayPal here, right? So whatever freelancing we are doing, either it's relatives who are living abroad who are having accounts.
But
there,
you have an
we are
account
asking
abroad
them-
yourself.
Yes, or we have an account, right? So how can we have a more easy sort of a solution for all of those people who want to receive the money, dollars that are coming from the
That's
outside?
why we are we are here. Our company is here
Okay.
to give the solutions, as I
What is
mentioned.
the solution? Please go
Solution
ahead.
is that it can be done from here, like Amazon. You can create your own accounts from Pakistan. There is no issue. I'm running 2 accounts from Pakistan, and not even a single issue I have faced. So if we talk about other platforms, yes, we do have, but there are other solutions, like we have to create our companies in UK and USA, and you can create the companies.
Sitting over here in
Yeah,
Pakistan,
sitting
you
over
can
here.
create a
You
company
are
over
the
there.
CEO of your USA company or UK company, but you are running from here.
And how
You are
does
the
that-
resident of Pakistan.
And how does that work? I mean, sitting here, having a company there, so matlab, how does
It's
done?
e-commerce
an online company,
magic.
right?
It's e-commerce magic.
Right.
So and
So what sort of a company would you suggest, people to kind of make? Because I've heard a lot of people saying, register LLC, all of those. So what type of companies really people need to get into?
It's very obvious. Like if in Pakistan there's private limited PVT, in UK it is LTD, in USA it is LLC.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
So it's always
each
private
and every
limited that
state,
you want.
requires their own, statement.
And for people who might not know about it, is private limited means that you have limited liability, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, if you do not have a private limited company, the liability is actually going to be really bigger for your business. So it's always advised to do that in particular different situations. Now, in addition to this, how did you got into e-commerce, and how did you make sure that you're going to learn it yourself first? Because for all of us, the generation that we belong from, it was difficult for all of us to get going with the internet.
I think it's in my genes.
Mashallah.
No, actually my family, my parents belong to feudal system. My uncle runs their own business, and you have seen so many people saying that this person is business mind person.
Okay.
This lady is business mind.
पता नहीं ये तारीफ है या नहीं, ये भी नहीं समझ में आता यार, ये बड़ा
That's very
business
true,
minded
that's
आदमी
true.
है.
Yeah, true. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. But actually, honestly, becoming an entrepreneur, I think it is often a journey shaped by patience,
Yep.
resilience, and willingness to embrace the challenges.
True.
I believe in that. And
Right.
for me, it began with identifying a problem, or you can say a gap in the market.
was
I
it?
felt that compelled to address, like to become an entrepreneur with some unique ideas, you know.
Okay.
And this, you can say, this initial spark, you know, motivated me or led me to explore the various ideas and opportunities.
Wonderful.
And one thing I want to add here, that when I talk about opportunities, I believe that every and each person has a lot of opportunities.
True. Thank you.
Actually, they have to recognize it. They should recognize
They should
it,
understand it.
understand
Yeah.
it, and they have to open that door.
True.
So I opened my door 4 years before, and now I am.
And what if there are disruptions in opening of those doors? So we've been living in Pakistan. I think we have a lot of there are pressures over interrupt disruptions, and we are
खुलते काम में
prone
बंद
to-
ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं।
Exactly. So how do you deal with those fluctuations in that door opening?
Believe in Allah, yourself, and consistency.
True.
I think that
After 2 or 3 months, some people started, you know, start saying that, oh, it's too hectic or it's too tough, I can't do it. Don't say like that. Believe in yourself, believe in Allah. If you are going to do something, then you have to achieve your goals. That should be your target.
right,
Wow.
right.
I mean, for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, I think today is that day that we actually got together with a person who actually says whatever we say, you know. So these are exact words that we've been saying to people out there as well, that you really need to have, you know, your faith in Allah Almighty. You really need to make sure that you stick to it, give it your best, you know, hard work. Because for people who will be like, yeah, you know, I feel very sleepy, you know, I'm very lazy. I don't think that they can actually get to a point where majority of the people are. And this is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. You really need to work hard. You can't be hungry. You can't be
can't.
sleepy. You really need to
And
get up
I-
and make sure that
I
you
And
work.
you have seen the inflation rate these days. I think it is very important to learn some skills.
True.
And I think let's touch upon a very interesting topic, because whenever we talk about setting up a business, I mean, it does require some sort of time to get established, right? So you are going to, you may not be prospering in an initial phase. So if you are disheartened, if you leave it across, then that means you do not have the element of consistency. So now let's focus on the digital marketing, because that's a very buzzword nowadays, and there's been a lot that's been written on it. And I think one of the advantage of digital marketing over the traditional form of the marketing is that you do not need to invest a lot of money on that. You can if you want to in terms of in the arena of digital marketing, but because of the fact that, you know, you can reach masses on the internet and you can spread your message across it. So how do you see the evolution of the digital marketing, and what are some of the trends that we need to be aware of?
E-commerce, digital marketing has come a long way since its inception. Initially, it was, you know, basic online shopping websites and all that, but now it encompasses mobile commerce.
Okay.
You remember there was a time when we wanted to buy something, we had to go to the market, nearby market, and we had to find that product or that thing. And if we couldn't find that, oh my God, that was so troubling for us.
True.
But no, if you want to buy something, you don't have to go to market. You just, what to do? First thing, pick
Online.
up your phone, pick
Yeah.
up your phone. And if you don't even buy it online, you have to search that product or that keyword on the phone, and a lot of websites and, you know, a lot of ads pop up on the
But that's where the
screen.
problem is. Now imagine that world over, whatever you're ordering, you know that that's what you're going to get. Unfortunately over here, you know, the market is not as secure as it is in the rest of the world, because you will be ordering a shoe, UK size 43, it comes to you, it's not even close to that. You know, it's smaller, it won't fit you, there'll be other issues, the rider's still standing outside, sir, pay me first, only then I will deliver. You know, there's so many problems. Do you think that, because these are the challenges for anybody who happens to be a customer of e-commerce today,
Yeah.
in today's time, over here in Pakistan, and for companies which are being operated by Pakistanis themselves, you know, because they certainly do not get the same product which we see. So how do you think that, you know, that you come around this challenge for yourself as well and making it better, number one? Number two, with social media marketing, we have seen so many fraudulent practices as well,
yes.
where people will come in and say, oh, you know, we are social media marketers, we'll take the
Yes.
money, and then, you know, they do not know how to get the job done. So how do we address that?
Okay, these are two questions, by the way.
And very
Okay.
important ones, yes.
Yeah. Okay, if you are talking about challenges, yes, I have to face a lot of challenges in e-commerce field, logistics issues, customer issues, fulfillment issues, shipping issues. But you know, we can overcome these challenges with a proper planning. Okay, when you are getting into a business, there should be a careful planning. First of all, you should focus on creating seamless and user friendly shopping experience.
True.
Okay, you should optimize your websites for mobile devices, because these days nobody open the laptop to buy anything.
True.
Okay, and second thing is utilize the data analytics.
Yeah.
Okay.
How
That
do we
is
do
the-
that? How do we do that?
Utilize the data analytics to understand the customers and then tailor your marketing strategies.
Yeah, so where your
according to
reach
that.
is, you know, which age category people are actually
Yes.
interested in your product,
Yeah,
all of that.
let me
Explain.
give an example. Like if you are targeting a teenage girl and selling a bed sheet, do you think she ever buy that? Never. So your marketing strategies, your digital marketing strategies should be according to that. So I think now it's evolved, this
The entire
e-commerce
e-commerce, yeah.
and AI and machine learning, you know,
Can help you.
making
ChatGPT
it
as well.
so interactive, and you know, it shaping this industry so well, and making it more interactive and customer centric, you can
True.
say, than ever
And
before.
I think there are AI platforms and a lot of companies and softwares that are propped up that help us to understand the data analytics and making the very complex sort of algorithm easier for us to understand, and that is why it's important that we need to learn and delve into this field. Thank you so much for coming to our show and for shedding the light on this very important topic, and I think for the days to come we will delve into it and we will further explore the sort of conversations, the new trends that are in here, because data analytics, marketing, digital marketing, e-commerce, this is a field that is going to shape the future as it is shaping the present. With that, we are going to celebrate a birthday of a 12-year-old boy of our colleague Sadia Waheed. He happens to be Ibrahim Khan. Happy birthday to you, Ibrahim, and may you have many, many more, and may you grow up and contribute towards this wonderful earth.
Ameen, so Ameen, and let's sing him our birthday song as well.
Okay.
So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ibrahim. Happy birthday to you. May you have many more as well. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.
Have a great day.